Pretty Girl Club. Welcome back to the social climbing series. So this video was requested to me by someone in the Patreon. So be sure to join the Patreon if you haven't already. It's only $5 a month and you will get Discord access. That is where I create all of my custom content and that is where I prioritize video requests. So this pretty girl says, I don't know if this would be a whole video or something you could cover real quick, but one thing I've been having trouble with is keeping up with the views I have been gaining on YouTube and TikTok. I don't know why, but it's like I have a fear of success. One of my TikTok curly hair videos gained like 50,000 views, and I've been gaining followers, but it's like when I think about creating content, I get a sense of anxiety. Same with YouTube. Maybe you could make a video for us content creators on how to handle our growing channels and platforms. So this is actually a really good question because when it comes to being an exotical, like when you are a pretty privileged woman, there is a certain way that you have to handle your success and your status and your privilege because you have a responsibility as a privileged woman. Your responsibility is whatever you make it. So if you want to become wealthy based off of your privilege, that means that it's your responsibility to be a good steward over what it is that you have. So I've noticed that a lot of pretty women have the fear of being seen. So they're scared of their own beauty. What this means is maybe you're nervous to like do your makeup. You're nervous to lose the weight because when you are on a pedestal, you're going to be the object of jealousy. I mean, that's a part of being on a pedestal. When you are on the pedestal, you get treated like a celebrity. Be sure to check out my video that is called Pretty Women Get Treated Like Celebrities. A part of being a celebrity is having a lot of criticism. So think about how they treat celebrities. They will make up rumors about them. They will try to zoom into their faces and show them from unflattering angles. They'll talk about them if they are fat or something like that. So a lot of women who have status, they have this fear of success, and it's really the fear of criticism. It's really the fear of being disliked. So thankfully, as exoticals, we don't have the fear of criticism as bad as some other groups of women. But what I have noticed though is a lot of exoticals have both the fear of failure and the fear of success, which puts you somewhere in the middle. So if you have a fear of success, you'll find yourself always at the bottom if you don't have the fear of failure. If you only have the fear of failure, but you don't have the fear of success, you'll find yourself at the top. But fear of success, that comes from the expectations that people put on you. So when you are the pretty girl, when you're on the pedestal, people expect you to be perfect. So they expect you to look perfect. This is why people will actually make comments like if you have acne, if you gain a little bit of weight, if your hair is looking messed up, people will make comments on it because when you have status and privilege, you are placed under a magnifying glass. People only put you under the magnifying glass if they idolize you in some way. You are only placed under a microscope if you are on the pedestal. If you're not on a pedestal, that's going to be a different experience. You'll actually find yourself feeling invisible. Nobody wants to put a microscope under something that is not attractive. I'm just being honest. This is how our society works. I'm not saying that it's right, but this channel focuses on reality, okay? So a lot of fear of success is because of expectations. So one way that I kind of shield myself from this is I try to be excellent in everything that I do. So I try to make sure that like my habits align with success. So that means keeping my body on point, keeping my hair on point, keeping my dental hygiene on point, because it makes it very difficult for people to call you ugly when you have created a lifestyle that supports pretty privilege. It makes it difficult for people to call you a failure when your habits are success habits. So that's one of the ways that I kind of shield from the fear of success or like having anxiety. I just make sure that I'm always putting my best foot forward. Self-discipline is the highest form of self-love. Have you ever noticed that high status women and highly privileged women, they're naturally self-disciplined? I will use Lori Harvey as an example. Think about how much self-discipline it takes to maintain having a nice body. Think about how much self-discipline it takes to keep your hair healthy for 5 years, 10 years straight. to keep your skin healthy for 10 or 15 years. Even if these women are getting surgeries or BBLs or liposuction, whatever they're getting, it still takes discipline to get that, because it takes discipline to make the money, to create the streams of income, and then to save the money and get on the payment plan so you can get the surgery, so you can get the liposuction. It takes discipline so you can make the phone calls, so you can get your health care insurance plan to cover the gastric bypass surgery or whatever it is. So it's impossible to actually maintain your status and privilege without self discipline. So self discipline is actually the key to privilege stacking. Have you ever heard people talk about women hitting the wall, or they'll say that somebody is a has been? The reason that they're a has been and the reason that they are declining in their privilege is because they're declining in self discipline. There is no such thing as a person who maintains social climbing, status, or privilege without self discipline. There's no such thing. You cannot have one without the other. If you're born with privilege, but then you don't have self discipline, your privilege will be canceled out. This is why you see people who have white privilege, but they never attain the wealth and the status that a lot of people associate with white privilege. Well, it's because they're self-disciplined. They weren't financially disciplined, or maybe they didn't have the social skills to make the connections within their own community so they can succeed. So there's no such thing as longevity in your status and privilege without self-discipline. So that's one of the main keys that I use. I try to stay as consistent as possible. For example, with my YouTube channel and my social media success, that is a part of my social climbing journey. So the first thing you want to really do, though, is think about what your goals are for social climbing. Because when I use that term, social climbing, what I really mean is having the social life that you've always wanted. So this could mean having good, healthy friendships, maybe having good networking opportunities, having the socioeconomic status that you've always wanted to have. Maybe there's a career that you've wanted to get into. All of that is a part of social climbing. The Pretty Girl Club is one of the first sectors on YouTube that has talked about social climbing without demonizing it. Everybody is a social climber, whether they realize it or not. If you post on Facebook, you are social climbing. If you purchase a nice car, you're social climbing. If you care about looking beautiful, if you care about having an attractive partner, if you care about wealth in any way, you are a social climber. Everybody is a clout chaser, whether they want to admit it or not. This is the only channel and the only sector on YouTube that actually talks about sociology from a realistic and practical perspective. So the first step to social climbing is not demonizing it. So sometimes in religious circles, they will demonize social climbing and they'll try to make it like, oh, that's bad. And it's like, meanwhile, that is a pastor that is literally speaking on a stage and asking you to pay tithes and offering. So it's like, okay, you're talking badly about social climbing, but you are social climbing in one way or another. Human beings care about status and privilege. But another way that you can properly handle your status is to make your flaws a part of your brand. So, for example, I know that I have toxic traits, okay? So I know that I scored a little bit high on Machiavellianism. So I make that a part of my brand. I wear it on my sleeve. No one can expose you if there's nothing to be exposed. I made dark femininity a part of my brand. I made Machiavellianism a part of my content. All of the shadow parts of myself, I have embraced those sides of myself. I have embraced my flaws and I make that a part of who I am. Your flaws are actually what makes you unique. So let's talk about this in terms of pretty privilege. Let's say you have a hook in your nose. Maybe you have a lump on your nose. Maybe your nose points downward or something like that. Well, that is a part of your racial background. So if you want to make your racial background a part of your pretty privilege, you can keep that hump in your nose instead of getting a nose job, and you can actually be a beauty icon for women who have a hook in their nose. That's an example of making your flaws a part of your personal brand. So like with this pretty girl that sent me this message, she said that she does hair influencing. So let's say you're a hair influencer and your hair is breaking off. You can make that a part of your brand. You can make a video about that and say, hey, my hair broke off and this is why, and like this is what I did to make it break off. So now I'm going to create an entire TikTok series about how I restore my hair back to health after I broke my hair off last month. Content creators do this all the time. Models do this all the time. Like, you've seen celebrities talk about their weight gain journey or their weight loss journey. Actually, Lori Harvey is a good example of this. She talked about her relationship with Michael B. Jordan and how when she was in a relationship with him, she gained weight or like she gained happy weight. I've seen celebrities talk about their journey with depression, or they talk about like how they overcame going through all these lawsuits. I've heard Cardi B talk about going through lawsuits. I've heard Meg The Stallion talk about having court cases and stuff like that. So a lot of leveled up and like high status women, they make their flaws a part of their brand. Because remember, if you try to hide a whole bunch of stuff, or like if you try to prevent from being exposed, you're actually giving social power to your trolls, because then they can come in and expose you. Then your family members or your friends or the people who knew you before, they can come in and expose you and be like, oh, this is what she looked like before her glow up, or this is what she looked like when she was fat. And so the way that you actually take your power back is you can actually talk about your journey. So you can make your flaws a part of your journey. You can actually make content about overcoming adversity. Everybody loves a good underdog. Everybody loves a good hero story. Talking about being the underdog, that makes you the hero of your own story. So instead of giving other people the power to like expose you or to talk about who you used to be, you can make that a part of your brand. A lot of female rappers do this. They talk about being from the ghetto. They talk about coming from poverty. They talk about coming from the gutter. And that helps them to kind of have a better brand, because then the other girls who are from that area, they can actually relate to those women. So I do want to say too, at the same time, you don't owe anyone access to your privacy. So even if you don't, like if you choose not to share anything about your personal life with other people, you can also choose to move in silence, and you can make that a part of your brand. Hey, my brand is I choose to move in silence. I choose not to share my birth chart with other people. I choose not to share my personal family background. So you can do it however you want. If you want to be transparent, you can make your brand a transparent brand, or you can make your brand based on moving in silence. Beyonce is a good example of someone who chooses to maintain her privacy. Beyonce is not a transparent person. She built an entire empire without having to have any transparency at all. And so you can do it whatever way you want. There is no right or wrong way to handle your status and privilege, as long as you are meeting your own social climbing goals. So, one of the things that I did was I established what my goals are. So, I know my strengths and weaknesses. Another thing you can do is you can take like personality tests. So, if you are a scientific person, I am naturally more of a social scientist. So, I don't consider myself to be religious or spiritual. So I know a lot of women, they're into astrology and the signs. And so they kind of define their identities based on their star signs and stuff. I'm not so much like that. I do talk about that on this channel, but I enjoy psychology. I've noticed that's my bread and butter. That's my passion. I love the psychology side. I love sociology. I love social science. So I can talk about that all day long. So what I will do is I will take personality tests and I will examine my own strengths and weaknesses. So, what is your personality type? What is your Enneagram type? Because that will help you to determine your social climbing goals, and it will help you to be knowledgeable about your own flaws. Because if you know your flaws, nobody can use that shit against you, because you already know what your weaknesses are. You already know what your shadow side is. So, nobody can come in and like dominate you and have emotional control over you based on your flaws. So, like with me, I know that I'm an ENTJ. Us ENTJs, we are looking very bad right now on Love Is Blind. So if you guys, if you guys watch Love Is Blind, I've been watching it. I'm thinking about doing a psychoanalysis of it. It doesn't really have anything to do with Exoticals, so that's why I haven't made a video about it. But it's like us ENTJs, like oh my god. So I know my strengths and weaknesses. I know that the ENTJ personality type, I know that we are the most infamous personality type. I know that we tend to be one of the most disliked personality types. So even on Love Is Blind right now, there's an ENTJ woman on there and there's an ENTJ man on there that I've seen. Both of them are looking pretty bad right now, but I know that my personality type heavily cares about status and power. So instead of me being ashamed of that, instead of me fighting against my own personality, I've decided to embrace that shit. I embrace my shit, okay? I embrace my shadow side. Guess what? I care about status and power. So why don't I just make an entire YouTube channel? Why don't I go ahead and pursue the status and power that I desire? And I will teach other personality types how they can use some of the ENTJ qualities to attain the status or the power that they want. So instead of me being ashamed of who I am, instead of me fighting against my dark side, why don't I just embrace that part of myself and then maybe work on my weaknesses? And then nobody can use that against me. Nobody can expose me or like sun me or punk me because I already know who I am, baby. I already know my strengths and weaknesses. So if you tell me, oh, you have Machiavellian traits, Exoticals United, you are a hypocrite, you're a manipulator. Okay, I already know that I'm a hypocritical, manipulating, Machiavellian type of person sometimes. I already know that about myself. This is why I have built an entire brand and YouTube channel based on both my positive qualities, but also my negative qualities. I have no problem with people seeing my flaws because I've noticed that with my personality type, I work a little bit better when I am able to be more transparent. So, for the pretty girl who wrote in that question about how to handle her success and her fame with like getting more views, you have to decide, okay, do I work better with transparency or do I work better with privacy and moving in silence? I've noticed for me personally, I need a little bit of both. I need some transparency, but I need some privacy as well because I really don't have that really big desire for fame and like I like fame and I like power, but I don't necessarily like people kind of invading my privacy. Like there is a certain level to where it's like, okay, now I feel like I'm being stalked. But for some women, they like that. So you have to choose which one do you value more? Do you value transparency more or do you value your privacy? That's a really big component to your social climbing journey. So if you value your privacy more, one of the ways you can protect your privacy is by moving in silence. For some introverts, I've noticed introverted women, they value privacy, obviously, because they're introverts. They don't want everybody to know exactly what they're thinking. A lot of introverts, they're not out here word vomiting or oversharing or, seeking a lot of feedback and stuff. So you get to decide, okay, do I want to be private? And if so, how can I protect my privacy? You can figure out different strategies to protect your energy because maybe you are an introverted person. You don't like when people know your name. You don't like when people know where you live or when people know who you're dating and all that shit. I mean, I kind of think that's weird too. Like when people are stalking you or like, who are you dating or like, what is your sex life like? So you have to decide what kind of boundaries you want. But knowing your personality type, though, or knowing it could be your sign if you're a spiritual person and you believe in the signs, knowing your signs and stuff, and knowing the strengths and weaknesses of your sign or your personality type or your spiritual type, all of that will help you to create social climbing goals for yourself. So I know that I'm an ENTJ. I know that us ENTJs, we care a lot about power and control. I've taken the DISC test as well. I don't really like the DISC personality test as much. I've noticed that I prefer the 16 personality types because that one's kind of more diverse. But even on the DISC test, I know that I care about influence a lot. So knowing your personality will help you to get to know your strengths and weaknesses. So I like the Enneagram test as well. So I'm an Enneagram 3 wing 2. So I know that once again that also lines up with being an ENTJ. I'm an Enneagram 3 wing 2. Okay, so Enneagram 3s, I'm very image based. So that means that I care deeply about my image. I care about pretty privilege. If you think I'm shallow, if you think I'm I don't know, like fake or I'm trying to be some sort of Jezebel or seductress. I don't care. Okay. This is my personality type. This is who I am. So instead of me fighting against it, like when I was deep into Christianity, I noticed that I was kind of fighting against my nature of wanting to be pretty and like care about beauty and fashion and doing my nails and stuff. I've always cared about that. That's just a part of my personality. That's a part of how I express myself. So, knowing your personality type, taking personality tests, knowing your strengths and weaknesses, knowing if you have any mental illnesses, that's also very important. Like, what did you test for? Have you ever tested for any mental illnesses? Because I know that I have. Like, that's a part of my mental hygiene. That's a part of my, like, mental health journey. So, just like how I care about my physical health, Just like how I go to the doctor to get a physical, I have also gone to therapists and been tested just to make sure. Like, okay, am I struggling with any mental illnesses? So like I've been tested for narcissism before. Like I've gone to therapists and asked them, am I a narcissist? I've been tested for my attachment styles just to make sure like that I'm not struggling with anything and kind of fighting against anything. So it turns out obviously I'm not a narcissist, contrary to popular belief of these bitches on YouTube. I'm actually not a narcissist. But I have actually gone to a therapist. Like before I got a divorce, I actually went to the therapist and I asked the therapist, I was like, am I a narcissist? Because maybe something's wrong with me. Maybe I'm just a super selfish person, or maybe I am mentally ill. No, turns out I was not a narcissist. Turns out I did not have a bad attachment style. I actually got tested to make sure that I didn't have maybe like an anxious attachment style or an avoidant attachment style. I've been tested for codependency. So, no, it turns out I was not a narcissist. I have a secure attachment style. So, knowing all of those things and like diving deep into your own psychology and basically becoming more self focused, like focusing on yourself, focusing on your strengths and weaknesses, that actually will help you with social climbing because it'll help you to be able to answer, why do I get anxious about posting hair videos on TikTok? Why do I get because I know that for me, I used to get anxious with posting on social media. I used to be scared of my own beauty, and part of that is because I was scared of being disliked, and I had a fear of people being envious of me because we all know, as part of the pretty girl club, when you're pretty, sometimes people can be so envious that they will become violent with you. So some of us have literally been abused by men because men have been jealous of us. Some of us have been beat up by women or had our faces slashed, or like, if you come from a long line of pretty women, my mother has pretty privilege, my grandmother has pretty privilege, all the women in my family, I come from generations of pretty privileged women. And so part of coming from a long line of pretty privileged women is the intergenerational trauma. Yes, believe it or not, there actually are traumas that come with pretty privilege. And so if you come from a long line of pretty privileged women, you have had your own mother or your own family members tell stories of women trying to beat them up, or women slashing their faces, or women like trying to sabotage them or abusing them, or even men abusing them. So I understand that with every privilege, there's always a dark side to that privilege. There's always a trauma that actually comes with every privilege. So this channel talks about mainstream psychology, but we also talk about dark psychology on this channel. We do a lot of speculation on this channel. We create a lot of little psychological theories, and we are not real psychologists, but this is all just based on anecdotal evidence. So if you come from a pretty privileged background, or if you have lived a life of pretty privilege, you also have those traumas and the PTSD from the pretty privilege. Just like how if you have white privilege, did you know that there's actually a form of PTSD that comes with white privilege? It's called white guilt. You've had a lot of people of color. If you're a white pretty privileged girl watching this, because I have a lot of white women who follow this channel as well, you know as a white woman that there are actually women of color who will stereotype you as being racist, just like how they stereotype light skinned black women as being colorist. So there's actually a trauma that comes along with your privilege. I would say that's the dark side of every privilege. It's the trauma that comes along with it. So the dark side of social climbing and the dark side of fame and popularity, the trauma that comes with fame is the microscope. It's people invading your privacy. It's people psychoanalyzing you or trying to expose you or trying to call out your flaws. And so if you want to have that pedestal, you can't be a perfectionist because you're never going to be perfect in everything you do. Every video is not going to go viral. Every photo that you post on IG is not going to be your best photo. Every time that somebody sees you, you're not going to look your best. Your makeup's not always going to look perfect. Your hair's not always going to look perfect. If you're a public speaker or if you're trying to increase your career or something like that, you're not going to do every work task perfectly. You're going to make mistakes. And so the way to overcome that perfectionism trauma is to embrace the fact that you're going to make mistakes because you can't avoid mistakes. You're going to have some bad angles. You're going to have some bad moments. You're going to have some mistakes in your business. You're going to have typos in some of your emails. You're going to make mistakes in your parenting. You're going to make mistakes in dating or with men. What I try to do on this channel is I try to psychoanalyze things enough to where we can avoid as many of those mistakes as possible. I'm trying to help both myself and the other pretty girls to have a smooth life so that we can privilege stack our way and social climb to wherever we want to in life. But knowing your personality type and knowing what your shadow qualities are, knowing your own dark qualities, that will help you. So, another thing that I like to keep track of, I keep track of my triggers. Okay? So, what are your triggers? Is your trigger negative comments on YouTube? Because I know that for me, one of my triggers in the past is excessive. Like, if people are excessively criticizing me or especially false accusations, I know that that is something that I have PTSD over because a lot of people have falsely accused me of so many things throughout my life. And I'm sure that a lot of pretty privileged women can relate to this. You've been falsely accused of sleeping with people. You've probably been falsely accused of flirting with men that you're not even interested in. You've probably been falsely accused of thinking you're better. So I have a lot of PTSD from false accusations. So I've noticed that, like, one of the ways that I have to shield myself is by guarding my social media and guarding my comment section and guarding my personal life. I don't hang out with women who will falsely accuse me of shit. I don't like hanging around women who falsely judge me or they wrongly judge me. And also, I like to create safe spaces for myself. Guess what? This is my YouTube channel, so I have the right to create a safe space for myself. I don't care about my channel going up in the algorithm. Believe it or not, my comment section, that is my safe space as well. So not only is it a safe space for the Pretty Girl Club, so I don't allow people to bully the Pretty Girl Club in my comment section, but I also don't allow people to bully me in my comment section. So if somebody tries to bully me on this YouTube channel, or like if you're a TikTok influencer or an IG influencer or something, if somebody tries to bully you, you have the right to block that person. That's a part of your social power because your social media is your pedestal. That's a part of your pedestal. So if you have built your social media, like for this pretty girl, she said she got 50K views because she has pretty privilege with her hair. So if your hair has built a social media pedestal of 50,000 views, guess what? You now have the social power on that pedestal of your social media account. So you get to block whoever you want. You can dismiss people from your comment section. You can respond. You can actually clap back if you want to. I mean, women do this all the time. Some women, they will clap back, and that's a part of their social strategy. Think about all the female rappers and stuff and how they use their music because a part of their pedestal is their music. So they use their music that they created with their record label to literally stunt on hoes and to flex on bitches. That's literally a part of how they choose to use their pedestal. So you get to decide how you want to navigate that newfound status. So what I like to do, I love blocking people. I love exercising my social power on my social media. I can block whoever I want. I can turn off the comment. Well, I don't want to turn off the comments, but some people, they actually will turn off their entire comment section if they don't want people to scrutinize them or whatever. For some people, they will guard their privacy. So, like, maybe they won't put their real name on their social media. For some women, they will make their whole entire Instagram private because that's their way of guarding their pedestal. They want a private pedestal because they want to exclude certain people from their space. And that's okay. Some people will create an inclusive space. So you have to ask yourself that too. Am I an inclusive person or am I an exclusive person? So neither one is wrong. I've noticed that for me, for some of my stuff, I like for it to be inclusive, like this space. The exotical space is actually an inclusive space as far as the exotical identity. Exoticals are really self identified. Exotical is not a race. It just means that you're some form of a black woman or a woman of black descent, whether you're mixed black or full black, and you benefit from the isms, or at least one ism. So it could be colorism, texturism, featureism. Maybe you have mixed race privilege because you're like a multiracial black woman or something like that. But a part of what makes this space inclusive is I also have a larger space called the Pretty Girl Club. So the Pretty Girl Club is just a woman of any race, white, black, whatever, who subscribes to this channel and she can relate to the pretty girl content. So she's a pretty privileged woman. So that's a part of the inclusive space of the Exoticals United channel altogether. So I've noticed that I do tend to be a bit more inclusive rather than exclusive, but for some women, they want exclusivity. So they want a private Instagram. They are introverted. Maybe they only have a small circle of friends, and that's okay. One is not better than the other. I don't believe in hierarchy thinking, so I don't think that being exclusive is better than being inclusive. You just have to do whatever works for your personality. Some women won't even share their personality type on YouTube because they believe in like the evil eye or something like that. So you're never going to see me really speak against a lot of people's beliefs. So whatever your beliefs are, you get to decide how you want to navigate your social climbing journey. So that's another important question to ask yourself. Am I an inclusive type of person? Am I an exclusive type of person? Do I want to keep people out of my space, or am I trying to include people in my space? No matter what you choose, everything has pros and cons. But another part of fear of success, though, is the expectations that other people put on you. So, like when you're the pretty girl, people expect you to be skinny. Look at what happened to Aaliyah J, the YouTuber. So I almost made a video about it, but it didn't get quite enough media attention for me to make a video about her. But I saw that she had gained weight and people were trying to like talk shit about her gaining weight. So when you are the pretty girl, Aaliyah J obviously has pretty privilege. She's obviously an exotical. She benefits obviously from one, if not multiple isms. But when you're put on a pedestal, people place expectations on you. So if you already have pretty privilege, they expect you to also have a pretty body. You have to also have pretty teeth, pretty hair. You have to have a perfect life. So that is a part of the fear of success. Some women, they don't like how other people place expectations on you. Like, okay, I expect you to have a perfect relationship. This we deal with this a lot in the exotical community. Have you ever noticed how people will study our relationships and then they'll be like, "Oh my god, look at her. She got cheated on. Oh my god, look at her. She went through a breakup." They're doing that right now with Cardi B and Offset. They're doing that right now with Halle Bailey and DDG. I am going to make videos about them. But that actually contributes to the fear of success. Like for some women, they have a fear of other people placing these expectations on them. So that could be a part of where that fear comes from. It's the expectations that other people place on you, and maybe you don't feel like you can live up to the expectations, or maybe you don't want to live up to the expectations. So I would say if you're that type of person, that's where moving in silence can actually help you. So maybe you don't tell anybody that you started a business. Just don't tell anybody until after it's already successful. So just don't announce that you're going to be posting on Instagram, or don't announce that you're going to be writing the book, because maybe expectations are a trigger for you. So expectations used to be a trigger for me too, because I grew up in a household to where I was expected to go to college. I was expected, like my family, I come from a family background to where they place a higher standard on you. So for some of you, maybe the expectation in and of itself is the trigger and you don't like that. So I've noticed that I don't like expectations in the workplace, like in the 9 to 5 workplace. So when I used to work 9 to 5 jobs, I would never apply for the promotion, really. For the most part, I didn't apply for management jobs in particular because I don't like the expectations that come with being a manager. So I decided to just go ahead and get out of the 9 to 5 sector altogether and just go ahead and work for myself, because then it's just me. It's just the expectations that I place on myself, as opposed to, okay, I'm a middle manager, I've got my upper management expecting me to do stuff, then I've got my subordinates expecting me to do stuff. Expectations are a trigger for me too. So if there's a way that you can somehow avoid those expectations or escape that responsibility, then I don't see a problem with that either. That's a part of why I'm child free. I don't want the expectations of being a mother. I simply do not like the expectations that people place on mothers. I don't like the expectations and kind of the disrespect that a lot of mothers receive, both from their children and from society as a whole. So, because those types of expectations of motherhood are a trigger for me, I chose to remain child free because I don't want the expectations of motherhood. I don't want to have to be pregnant and then have a healthy pregnancy and then still be happy and then like be a good mother and then care for the child, and then the child is throwing tantrums in the grocery store and then I have to be patient and loving and speak to them in a kind tone. And no, I don't like all of those expectations. That is a trigger that will cause my mental health to go down. So I've noticed that I work best when I place my own expectations on myself as opposed to living up to the expectations of others. So for some women, though, they thrive off of meeting and exceeding the expectations of others. Some of you guys are overachievers. And so maybe you actually do well in the workplace. I did a psychoanalysis of all the signs. I've noticed that the Gemini sign from the Geminis that I know in real life, like I said, I'm not an astrologer or anything like that, but I love psychology. So if you guys ask me to psychoanalyze anything, I trust me, I will find a way to psychoanalyze it. But I've noticed the Gemini sign, a lot of Geminis, they seem to do very well, and same with Aquarius. They seem to do very well actually with not just meeting the expectations of others, but actually exceeding the expectations of others. It's almost like they're natural overachievers, and it's almost as if they do well under pressure. Like I've seen a lot of like Gemini signs and Aquarius signs having these amazing careers. They get promoted. They're able to be like they're good with money and shit. They're able to like just exceed all of these societal expectations and just pass them with flying colors. So for some of you guys, maybe you do very well under pressure. Maybe you do really well with meeting expectations because it's not a big deal to you. You thrive under pressure. You thrive when it comes to having a lot of people depending on you. For some people, they thrive as the owners of companies. They thrive as managing other people. Some of you guys work really well with other people. Some of you guys are really good at reading people. Some of you guys are really good at being a team player. So you don't mind expectation. In fact, you thrive on expectation and responsibility and duty. Think about all of the people that thrive in the military. That's a lot of expectation that they place on you in the military. So if you're the type of woman who can thrive in a scenario like that, like the military or something, or like they place all these expectations on you, they have all these rules and regulations, and you're really good at following rules, or you're really good at finding loopholes in the rules and kind of like finessing your way through society, then you're the exact opposite. So, like I said, there is no right or wrong way. You just have to analyze yourself and figure out how to social climb on your own. There is not one right or wrong way to social climb. There really isn't. Morality is subjective. Morals are subjective, okay? So some people have Christian values, some people have Machiavellian values. Some people are ruthless businesswomen, like myself, and other people, they have these altruistic, charitable values. I am not a good girl. I've told you guys this. I do not identify as being a quote unquote good girl. This is not a channel for good girls. So a lot of people say, oh, well, she has low empathy. Well, I mean, I did score high on Machiavellian traits. So yeah, my content, it's not created to be empathetic. I don't owe you my empathy. So if you highly value empathy and you highly value, like, I don't know, maybe it's Christian values or like karma and all that other stuff. This is not a religious or spiritual channel. This is a psychology and sociology based channel. It's focused on things like the 48 laws of power, Machiavellianism, the art of seduction, and using all of these different dark psychology tactics so that you can succeed. That is what this channel is. This channel is not where you come to have cupcakes and lollipops and pretend like everything's going to be all right. This is not the channel for you if you highly value things like being a good girl and, doing unto others as they would do unto you. And, oh, I can't get bad karma. No, I do not believe in the concept of karma. Okay, so just giving you a little bit of background on the type of content you'll find on this channel. I don't live based on karma because I believe that I'm actually the master of my own life. So guess what? If I don't believe in karma, if I don't believe in manifesting that shit, I'm not going to manifest the shit. And also, I mean, I can do a whole series on my beliefs on karma. I don't believe in karma. I believe in cause and effect. But as far as karma, no. Because if karma was real, then the people who sexually assaulted me, they'd be in prison right now. There would be entire races and countries of people that would not exist right now. So yeah, I don't necessarily believe in that. I just do whatever I have to do so that I can survive and succeed, and it's working for me. Okay, so my way works for me and your way works for you. The thing that annoys me is like people, they want you to accept their morals. They want you to accept their identity as a Christian or as an astrologer or as a Buddhist or whatever, but then they don't want to accept yours. It's like, okay, you have Christian qualities, you have Buddhist qualities, you're a monk or whatever, and I have ruthless businesswoman qualities. Okay, why can't two things be true at the same time? You get to succeed in your way, and I get to succeed in mine. But another way that you can handle your success and your status is remembering that self discipline is the highest form of self love. That's one of my core values. Okay. And also, confidence comes through experiences. So some people are like, oh, all of the exotical channels, they're all ugly women who are just delusional. No, they're actually not, because confidence comes through experiences. How can people be this confident to talk about pretty privilege on this level if they don't have the experiences to line up with the pretty privilege? You can always tell who has pretty privilege based on how she speaks about pretty privilege. Usually, the women who resent pretty privilege are the women who lack pretty privilege. I'm just being 100% honest. I'm not trying to diss the women who don't have pretty privilege. I'm just saying that when it comes to the pretty privilege conversation, the exotical space, we are the leaders in the pretty privilege conversation. I have never seen this many channels collaborating all at once and all talking about pretty privilege, like I have seen in the exotical space. So clearly, we do have some authority in this area. And who better to learn about pretty privilege than women who have actually attained the pretty privilege? Whether it's real, whether it's fake, doesn't matter. It still required self discipline for you to attain the pretty privilege. Because pretty privilege is just a combination of a bunch of pretty features. So, pretty privilege just means you have pretty hair, pretty skin, a pretty body, pretty teeth, whatever it is, you have one or multiple pretty features. So it doesn't matter how you attain those pretty features. Oh, well, she's only pretty because she got liposuction. It doesn't matter. She still has thin privilege. Oh, well, she's only pretty because she got gastric bypass surgery. Doesn't matter. She still gets treated with thin privilege in her everyday life. Privilege is based on perception. So it doesn't matter how or why people perceive you a certain way. As long as they perceive you as privileged, you will receive the privilege. So who cares whether you're pretty because you're wearing makeup or not wearing makeup? You still have the pretty privilege. Oh, well, she's only pretty because she's wearing red lipstick. Doesn't matter. She still got the pretty privilege in the end. So I don't believe in like this hierarchy thinking where it's like, oh, if she woke up naturally pretty, then she has more pretty privilege than someone else, or she will be treated with having more pretty privilege. Well, not necessarily, because privilege, it can't be quantified. So this channel is really just about attaining the privilege. Doesn't matter how much of the privilege you have. Like, oh, she's skinnier than the other girl, so like she's automatically more privileged. Doesn't matter. They both have thin privilege. They're both thin. It doesn't matter if you're a size 0 or a size 4. You're both thin. So you both have some form of thin privilege. Yeah, you might navigate in different ways using your privilege, but all of that stuff is subjective. You get to decide what you want to use your privilege for. So that's another question that you can ask yourself. Why do I want to be a TikTok influencer in the first place? For the pretty girl who asked the question about having the TikTok views, why did you start TikTok in the first place? Remembering the why and remembering the reason why you're on TikTok, that will help motivate you to keep going. Did you start TikTok so you could make money? Okay, so you're closer to your goals with everything that you post on there then. Like, I started this YouTube channel for multiple reasons, and that's what keeps me going. I started this YouTube channel because number one, I love talking my shit. Number two, I enjoy production and the editing process. I love pulling the images. Number three, I'm an ENTJ baby. I love the power. I like the social status of being an influencer and being able to like, have this influence in the YouTube world. And so this is why I actually don't mind if people talk bad about me, because they're still giving me more power and influence, because they're causing more people to be curious about me. So I'm achieving my goal. And so for those of you who think that ENTJs are narcissists, we don't care. Oh, well, that's just narcissistic supply. Okay, well, then you're contributing to my narcissistic supply then by making videos about me, whether they're positive or negative. We're ENTJs. We don't care how we get the attention as long as we get the attention and it helps contribute to our goals. Steve Jobs is an ENTJ. There are so many ENTJs who are bound to have success because we're naturally good at alchemy. We are incredible at transmutation and alchemy, the NTJ personality type. You can be an ENTJ. INTJs, I feel like sometimes introverts can kind of struggle when it comes to conflict, but still, I feel like if you're an NTJ, you may have an easier time with transmutation and alchemy. But remembering why you're seeking that status in the first place, that will help you to keep going. Why do you want to be pretty? Like, seriously, what are your pretty privilege goals for those of you who want to be pretty? Like, I want to be pretty not just because of the male gaze or something. I've actually decentered men. I would be shocked. It would be a miracle if a man actually met all of my standards. So, my pretty privilege stuff, it's actually not focused on men. I enjoy pretty privilege because I simply am an ENTJ who enjoys social power, and I don't care where the social power comes from. Okay, so pretty privilege, I like pretty privilege because I like social power. That's what it is. I enjoy the power that comes with beauty. I enjoy the opportunities that I can achieve through beauty. You literally can save money by being pretty privileged because you can get a free drink. If you're a TikTok influencer, like for this pretty girl who wrote this question, if you're a TikTok influencer and you have pretty privilege for your hair, pretty hair privilege, you can save thousands on hair products because companies will literally send you free hair stuff because they like how your hair looks. So that's what I enjoy about pretty privilege. That's why I want the pretty privilege. It's because pretty privilege has helped me to save money. Pretty privilege helps you to gain opportunities, whether you want to be an actress, a model, gaining free items from social media. It could be something as simple as a man paying for a drink or your groceries or bills or whatever. Sugaring. A lot of women use pretty privilege to be sex workers or sugar babies. So, pretty privilege for me, it's about social power and it's also about healing my inner child. Pretty privilege is a part of my self expression. That's why I want pretty privilege. I like living vicariously through my childhood self by dressing like a princess or by dressing like a fairy or by dressing like, I don't know, some sort of like childhood icon, like a Y2K video vixen or something. Pretty privilege is a form of self expression for me. So, those are the reasons why I want pretty privilege. If you can articulate why you want a particular privilege, that's going to help keep you motivated to overcome the downside of that privilege. So yeah, one of the downsides of fame and popularity is the anxiety because people are going to scrutinize you more. You're going to attract more criticism because you're more visible. The more visible you are, the more criticism you attract. So a lot of people, they're scared of the criticism that Exoticals are getting, but that's just because we're getting more visibility. So of course you're going to attract criticism because those small YouTube channels, they have nothing to talk about. Or like these declining YouTube channels like Chrissy and Lexus Exodus, all of these declining struggle channels, they don't have anything else to talk about other than you because you are the one who's gaining the visibility. This channel has received over 400,000 views just in the past 30 days alone. So for me to be such a teeny tiny channel with so few subscribers, for my views to be that large, that is on par with channels that have 200,000 subscribers. My revenue, because you get paid off of views, you don't get paid off subscribers. So who cares about the subscribers? I care about the money part. Because like I said, I care about the actual power and the influence. Money is a form of social power. Views and influence are a form of social power. Subscribers are just a metric. So as long as I'm attaining what I really want in the end, and I know that as an ENTJ, it has to do with power and control and dominance. So I'm still getting what I want. So it's really important to know the core of your personality and to know the dark side of your personality. What do you desire more than anything? Do you desire love? Is it romantic love? Because for some women, it's romantic love, and that's what makes them male centered. For some women, they literally cannot help but to be male centered. This is why I say, like, I can't save everyone. This channel isn't for everyone. For some women, they have to be male centered. Their pretty privilege is based on the male gaze. And they want to be pretty so they can attract a man because they want romantic love. They live, eat, and breathe romantic love. And if you do, that's fine. This channel would just not really be the channel for you, though, because I don't emphasize romantic love because I believe that sometimes romantic love doesn't last. And, I know the statistics on relationships. The average long term relationship will last a maximum of 2 years and 4 months. If you have a boyfriend right now, there's a 70% chance that you will break up. If you're married right now, there's a 50% chance that you will get a divorce. Okay? All it takes is a few pounds for a man's love and physical attraction to you to go away. So for me, I'm an ENTJ, so I'm very logical. So I have a hard time uh, centering my identity around like love and fantasy and stuff because I'm just too logical. My actual personality type can't really accept it. I have a hard time accepting that. But there are some people who have these very idealistic personality types, and they actually can manifest these ideals. Look at Mother Teresa, look at Gandhi, look at Martin Luther King, look at all these people who have been innovators and they've kind of shifted the culture based on their altruistic and ideals. Of course, I have my theories on those people as well. I do kind of think that a lot of those people are frauds, but I am also naturally a little bit more cynical because of my super logical, almost like nihilistic viewpoint. So I understand both the positive sides of my personality and the negative sides of my personality. If you don't even know yourself, you can't social climb. But another way that you can handle your privilege and status is by being mindful of what you spend your money on. So, what do you spend your money on to level up? For me, I spend it on my wardrobe. That's important to me. I spend it on paying down debts. So like student loans or whatever. I pay for courses all the time. Okay, so I just got done taking another social media marketing course. I pay for travel as well because multiculturalism is important to me. So traveling, that adds to multiculturalism. Moving out of your hometown or your home state, that adds to your multiculturalism. So for some of you, you have to pay for certain things, whether it's plastic surgery, gastric bypass, a facelift, or an actual medical surgery that you need, like a knee replacement, a hip replacement. I don't play around when it comes to my health. So if I need something medically, I will actually save up the money to get it because I don't want to deal with being handicapped in the future due to not taking care of myself medically or in terms of hygiene and stuff like that. So I will actually plan out my finances in order to protect my status and my privileges. I sure will. And that's why I said, like, the reason that they're calling me a bleacher is because I talked about how I have taken MSM before to get rid of my tan because I did not like how uneven my tan looked. And I will never apologize for it. I will never apologize for that. So, whatever your privileges are that you like or want to shield and protect, it could be light skin privilege, dark skin privilege, white privilege. I have white women who watch my channel. It could be white privilege. I've been around white women who, like, maybe they'll go to Hawaii and then they get a very deep tan and then they will stay out of the sun because they want to go back to like being white because that's what they identify with or they enjoy their white privilege. Okay, so if people enjoy their white privilege or if they enjoy their dark skin black privilege, why can't I enjoy my quote unquote light skin privilege? So, do you see the fake outrage? They're mad at some privileges, but not at others. Usually, people are only mad at the privileges that they don't have. I'm not stupid enough to be like that because, like I said, ENTJ baby, we are logical. So, I understand that other women who have different privileges than me, they might like their privileges. Being thick, having a big booty, that is a privilege in some scenarios. So, some women, they will get a BBL or they will lift weights and stuff and do squats to maintain their butt shape or to maintain like this bubble butt because they like the privileges that come with having a bubble butt. I don't have a bubble butt and I don't really like having a bubble butt. I have a skinny butt. So I like the privilege that comes with being a stick or or basically like being slim. So I don't shame other people's privileges. Like just because somebody has a different desire than me, just because somebody has a different privilege orientation. Ooh, that's a good way to describe it. Just because someone has a different privilege orientation than me, it doesn't make it okay for me to discriminate against their privilege orientation. I just made up that phrase just now. So, just like how they have sexual orientations, being straight is not better than the other ones. Some people think it is. I don't think like that because I don't have hierarchy thinking. So, you may have a different privilege orientation than me. Your privilege orientation is that maybe you have white privilege and thick privilege and blonde privilege or blue eyed privilege, whatever it is. I have a different privilege than you, and that's okay. Every privilege orientation is valid on this channel. Okay, so this is a channel for privileged women of all backgrounds, whether you're pretty privileged, light skin privilege, black privilege, dark skin privilege, white privilege. We don't care over here because we talk about using whatever your privilege orientation is to social climb. But also, another thing that helps me to navigate success and fame is remembering that I can't please everyone. Okay, so I'm never going to be pretty to everyone. I'm never going to be ambiguous to everyone. I'm never going to be light skinned to everyone. I can't control everyone's perception of me. So, popular women, famous women, they don't mind being perceived. They don't mind being criticized. That's a part of how you manifest fame. It's not giving a fuck. There's no way that you can manifest fame by giving a whole bunch of fucks. No, you can't. There comes a certain point in your popularity journey where you just literally you just have to stop giving a fuck. But something else that helps me though is I really do try to put my best foot forward. Like as long as I'm doing my best, then that's all that matters. So for this girl who asked me the question, she's a TikTok influencer. She has pretty hair privilege. So as long as you're doing your hair and the best that you can, that's all that matters. It's not about being the best, because there really is no such thing. It's about being your best. So as long as I feel like I look pretty in my pictures, I don't care. As long as I feel like I did a good job on my hair or I did a good job on my YouTube channel, as long as I feel like I'm doing my best in my business, that's all that matters, because most of the people talking shit are not doing anything on social media. Most of them are beneath you anyway in terms of their personal privilege stacking journey. So who cares what they think? I don't care what some losers say about me on the internet. I don't care about what some random people think of my appearance. I like my appearance, bitch. The fuck? I like how I look. I like how my body looks. I like how my skin looks. I like how my face and my bone structure and I like how my black features look. I like how I look when I'm tan. I like how I look when I'm light. So I get to decide my own value and my own worth. So that's another thing that you'll have to learn as you keep going forward and like gaining privileges. You just have to learn to accept yourself, because if you are constantly looking for others to accept you, you'll never be happy. You'll constantly be on an emotional roller coaster. And some women, they struggle with this. So I just heard a phrase today called rejection sensitive dysphoria. So rejection sensitive dysphoria in the psychology community, I'm a part of a lot of like newsletters and stuff. So they talk about people who have this disorder basically. And these are the people that get so wrecked by critiques. So like if their partner comments negatively on them, or like if a friend or a commenter on YouTube says something negative about their appearance, they feel like this very intense form of rejection. If you have that, you have no choice but to overcome that if you want to manifest fame. You cannot manifest a high level of fame if you're super sensitive to rejection. Look at the difference between Normani versus like all the other women. Just being honest. Normani has more sensitivity to rejection. And so that's why, like with her music and stuff, I do feel like some artists in the industry, they never release music because maybe they're more sensitive to rejection of their music. Or, you know, you never release content because you're more sensitive to people rejecting your content. Or you never do your makeup because you're sensitive to people rejecting that makeup look. But a part of being on the pedestal is understanding that someone will always have some shit to say. And also recognize that there are always going to be coattail riders and bandwagon hoppers. So some people, the same people cheering you on today will be your enemies tomorrow. And the same enemies you have today will be riding your clit tomorrow. That's just human behavior. Trends come and go. So when you're the popular girl, you are the trend. Whether you like it or not, you are the trending topic. You are the topic of conversation. You are their body goals. You are their business goals. You are their branding and marketing goals. But another way that you can handle your pedestal as well is don't idolize other women. Become the idol yourself. Don't worship other women. Become the woman that is being worshipped. Become the woman that is being idolized. And when I say worship, obviously I'm not saying it like, you know, like you're leading a cult or something, but you know what I mean. Like, don't look up to other women's pedestals. Always place yourself on the pedestal. This is why I go out of my way to say, I am not an advice channel, okay? I'm not on a pedestal above you. I really want to help you guys get out of this mindset of like, she's my leader or like, I need to listen to what she says. No, nope. I do not have the right or the place in your life to give you advice. You are the queen of your own life. I'm not your queen. I'm not your guru. I'm not your role model. I want you to become your own role model. I want you to become your own dream girl. I'm not your dream girl. You should be your own dream girl. That's why I say I'm not an advice channel, because you are the one who is able to give yourself the best advice, because you know yourself better than I know you. You know your strengths and weaknesses and your desires and your fears better than I do. But another way you can navigate your pedestal is to not get so caught up and obsessed over the numbers. So I might brag about numbers on here sometimes when I'm being a troll, but in my everyday life, I don't actually check my metrics. I'm actually very detached from them, because I understand that, like, in social media and stuff, every video is not going to go viral. Every IG picture won't be your best picture. Every angle is not going to be your best angle. All the lighting is not going to be your best lighting. You're not going to be perfect 24/7. So I just focus on gaining experience. Confidence comes through experience. The more pictures you post, the more you'll get good at posing and angles. The more you practice marketing, the better you'll get at it. Confidence comes from experience. So the way that I view business, for example, your business is like one big giant experiment. It's like one big giant social experiment. It really is. So like you get to be the queen. Your business is kind of like your baby. So if you have it could be a YouTube business, a makeup business, I don't know, hair, selling books, whatever it is. It's like one big giant experiment. There's no such thing as a person who's 100% confident all the time. Not Elon Musk, not Steve Jobs. Everybody on this earth is just kind of winging it and learning as they go, and they're experimenting. They're trying to like better themselves. So just be like that. Just focus on learning. I try to read books about my craft. So whatever your passion is, like if you want to be a TikTok influencer, this pretty girl who wrote this message, she is a TikTok hair influencer. If you want people to see your TikTok, you can comment down below, but I took your name out of it because I always make it anonymous, if you're asking a question to my channel, just to protect your privacy, just in case you don't want your name to be shown. So you can study up on TikTok, like how does the algorithm work? What is more likely to go viral on TikTok? How can I make better shorts? How can I make better reels? Because the more experience you gain in a particular field, the more confident you're going to be. Another way to handle your privilege is to get rid of hierarchy thinking. Okay, you have the privilege and that's all that matters. It doesn't matter how much of it you have as long as you have it to begin with. Okay, so you don't have to be the most beautiful woman in the world in order to have pretty privilege. No, that's not how life works. Real life doesn't actually exist on hierarchies. I do not believe that, because there are plenty of people who have white privilege who are still poor. There are plenty of people who are dark skinned who are beautiful. Shouldn't they be all suffering from colorism right now? You know what I mean? So real life doesn't actually adhere to hierarchies. So as long as your mindset is a realistic mindset, not having a hierarchy mindset is a more realistic mindset versus thinking in terms of hierarchies. Okay? But for example, wealth privilege. You don't have to be the wealthiest person in the world in order to enjoy wealth privilege. So let's say I become a millionaire. I have wealth privilege, so I'm going to focus on maximizing my $1,000,000 instead of being depressed that I don't have $1,000,000,000. Do you see how hierarchy thinking comes in and it just ruins everything? There will always be someone who's probably taller, better, faster, stronger, but you don't ever want to make another person the main character in your life. You're the star of your own life. You're the baddest bitch in your world because you're the only one in your inner world. So that's why I'm not offended. Like, if other women say, I'm the baddest bitch in the world, or like, I'm the smartest bitch in the world, well, you should be, because you're the only one living your life. So, another way that you can handle your social status is to stay in spaces where your status works the best. So, like with YouTube, my channel is not for everyone. Okay? This channel was not created for the same types of women that would follow the Black empowerment space. I don't want that audience. I want an audience of women who have the same privileges as me, they have the same lifestyle as me, or they have the same resources as me. They resonate with my personality aka my personal reality. That's another gaslighting thing when people say, you're making your beauty your whole personality. You're making your skin tone your personality. Well, yeah, because your personality is based on your personal reality. So your personal reality is literally how you think, how you act, and a lot of the way that you think and you act is based on your experiences. So the way that you look will partially determine your life experiences. Anyway, those are just some of the social climbing tactics for exoticals. What do you ladies think? What are your social climbing goals? Let me know in the comment section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.